Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Corwood, and if you haven't subscribed or liked this channel, make sure you do it straight away. Now today we are going to be covering high mileage cars. It's a question that I get asked all the time. Steve, should I consider buying a high mileage car? Now actually it's also a question that I actually get from dealers. Should I consider selling high mileage cars? There's pros and cons in both ways with high mileage cars. So we're going to run through both the pros and the cons straight after this little intro. Okay, high mileage cars, as I said before the intro, is something that I get asked a hell of a lot about most of the time, and whether you should consider buying a high mileage car. Now, what do we perceive as high mileage? Because it depends where you are living in the world. See, the UK would perceive a 100,000 mile vehicle as a high mileage vehicle, whereas if you were in the US, that might just be a baseline sort of mileage to expect for a car, depending on its age and obviously its mileage. If you are in Europe, like in Mallorca, like where I am at this current moment in time, a lot of cars are lower mileage. It's not a big island, so there's not loads of running about to do. They're fairly They keep them for a fair amount of time, longer than we do in the UK or elsewhere in the world. But should 100,000 miles or 150,000 miles really put you off? Does it mean that the vehicle's actually had a tough life? Now, just actually, before I move on to what I'm going to go on to, I wanted to just show you a couple of cars that we've sold recently that are either older or with higher mileage. So for instance, take a look at this BMW Z4, a 1363 plate. Granted, nice mileage at only 62,000 miles, but some people will be put off because of age. But this car was under £6,000. I really like that Z4, although it has got nice mileage on it, so it might not quite qualify for the high mileage comparison that we're looking at, but it does, I suppose, on age. But here's another one. This is an Audi TT 2008, and it's got 107,000 miles on. So for its age, for me, it's not high mileage, but for some people, they're scared of 107,000 miles. And here's another little example. This Audi A4 Estate was something that I bought, and it was on the channel, don't know, probably a few weeks ago, but we actually sold it in last month. So after we set it to prep, we did a few little bits, cosmetics and stuff, put it through its pre-delivery inspection and MOT. We put it up for sale and we sold it pretty quick. Now, some of the cons behind it is that it has been used and it has seen some more wear and tear than the normal vehicle that you would be looking at with low mileage. It's equivalent, should we say, with low mileage on paper. That's what you would think. Flipping that on its head, the pros to a high mileage car that has been looked after, it's been serviced, it may have been valeted quite regularly, it's just generally been cared for over a low mileage alternative that has been basically abused, not serviced properly, stuff chucked all around the vehicle. And I'm talking from experience here, from when we bought cars and we've brought them in and we've had, you know, some real, what we would think, nice low mileage examples, and they come in and they look like a farmyard and there's no service history and there's one key, and they're selling it on the basis that it's got really nice low mileage. I'd rather buy a high mileage car that's been looked after, that somebody's cared for, to be totally honest with you. And that would be the first part of where I would start with it. It's about the condition of the vehicle. So pro versus con is, the con is higher mileage, may have been used more, may have seen some more work, but the pro being is if it's been maintained properly, it's going to last you a hell of a lot longer. The other biggest thing that helps people look at the possibility of buying a high mileage vehicle is the money side of things. Now, people tend to look at high mileage cars because they can buy a nice car for less money, and that is certainly the case as long as you're buying the right car. And the thing is that the con against that is that if it hasn't been looked after and it's got high mileage on, you don't want to be buying it either. So you need to be checking what are the tyres like on it. Are the tyres matching? Always something I check. Might sound daft, but if someone's got matching tyres on a car, they normally take care of it. How long has it been in the previous person's ownership for? You know, if it's been in previous person's ownership for 5 years, then that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. What's its service schedule like? What's the overall body condition like? What's the interior like? Does it smell like it's been smoked in? Is there any cigarette burns or anything like that? Any of them signs puts me right off the vehicle. The odd cosmetic bit, I expect, the mileage, potentially the age as well. But make sure that you're looking at them things. And the same would go for a low mileage car. So I think you can see where I'm actually going with what I think about high mileage cars. I think it's like a human being, that if you do things in moderation and you look after yourself, you fuel yourself right, you make sure you try and keep fit to a certain degree, whatever it may be, you're eating decent things, you're not eating junk all the time, then the rule of thumb is then people normally are fitter and healthier and will last longer than somebody that is abusing themselves. Not all of the time, and there's the caveat, not all of the time that happens with humans, and not all of the time does that happen with cars. But the rule of thumb is always exactly that. If it's looked after, if it's been well maintained, if it's been loved, if it's been serviced, why not consider buying a high mileage car? And that is why, as a car dealer, high mileage cars really don't put me off. So I'd love to get your feedback on it. Let me know what your thoughts are. There's a hell of a lot of other stuff we could cover around this as well. But drop any thoughts you've got in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe to the page. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.